Welcome back to yet another Buffalo Blue Jays pregame show. We're here as the Baltimore Orioles are getting ready to come to town, but it almost feels like it doesn't matter. With only one game, our magic number is one game to win in the next four, including the game that has not been played yet as time of recording. It feels like the Blue Jays have pretty much clinched the 8th spot, and they really have very little chance of going up or down. So my question for you, Jared, is, would you have taken this outcome at the beginning of the season? Had you told you that we got into the playoffs, would that have been a positive outcome for you months ago?
Yes, it would have been.
It is a little bothersome that there's no chance really at all of any more games here in Buffalo. That was the real dream.
If I can touch on that real quick. Yes. Like when the idea that, like, oh my goodness, the World Series or the playoffs could be in Buffalo, like, we started to get very happy about that. And now, since that's not going to happen, that's 100%. That is definitely sad. But at the same time, the fact that this season got somewhere and there's still a chance, very small chance, that like a Buffalo team could win the World Series, that's still a possibility, is something I am happy with.
Right, we'd be like 1 for 1. We had one baseball team and we won the World Series. That would go well for our credentials for getting a team down the line. Maybe.
Absolutely. And there's been this weird, I would call it unreal, but people don't know how to handle it, like fake idea of, I'd say fake, of like how it is in Buffalo. Like the Yankees announcers were basically like, oh, the tough conditions up in Buffalo. And I'm like, based on what? Like, based on a few games you guys have seen? Like, because, the wind's coming off the lake or whatever. And the games have been very long. Blue Jays fans, you know that. They've been 4-hour games. But that hasn't happened just in Buffalo. It's happened in Boston, too, and other places. But it's funny how, like, that Buffalo mindset's, like, starting to enter into the games. And, like, just hearing other teams talk commentary, like the Yankees commentators, again, talking about the Cheerio factory or War Memorial Stadium, the Wings. They must have a whole list of Buffalo things. They're just going down the line talking about each one. And like my parents and I watched the game together last night, actually. And which, of course, they're New York City Yankees fans, so that was awesome when they won 14-1. But it was just so great to like guess what they were going to cover next. It's like, are they going to do Anchor Bar? And then they start talking about Anchor Bar. It was just funny.
Yeah, because the Yankees famously have like a prevailing wind that pushes balls as home runs going into right field. So it's always been like a haven for left-handed power hitting. Whereas the way that the Pilot Field, the way that the Sahlen Field is oriented, that's where the lake is. It's actually the exact opposite, where the prevailing winds is coming in. So I guess for Yankees fans, it might be tough, but screw them. Looking forward, I mentioned there's very little room for variation. We're almost locked in for sure the 8th place. We can be overtaken by the Angels ahead of us if we lose out and they win out. And we could possibly jump over who's in 7th right now? Cleveland, the 7th spot, almost the exact same scenario. They would have to lose out and we would have to win out. Do you see either of these being remote possibilities?
No, I don't see either one of those as being possibilities. Right now, the Indians are actually on a pretty decent winning streak. So, and that could obviously change on a dime, but I don't foresee any crazy scenario happening just with the randomness of baseball games in general. I just can't see it. I think, just on a side note, it's going to be really interesting to see, like, if the Indians can do anything else. Can they get into the 4th through the 6th? Can they even get up to 1? I believe that's still possible. So I'm still very anxious to see like how it matches up, especially because of that number 1, because that's who the Blue Jays are going to be playing. So I'm looking at like the Twins, the White Sox, obviously the Rays, the Indians, and I'm like, okay, who are we going to play? Like, I guess I'm already kind of looking ahead. But you know what? I think you kind of have to at this point.
I mean, it's been months since the Rays beat us, right?
Well, now let's take that back a little bit. They beat us. They got the 2 out of 3 series, but that was the rain delay game, if you recall. And I think if that hadn't happened, I think our fortunes would have been different. When we went down to Tampa, we had a 4-game streak, and I believe we split that one. So the Rays, and of course we're going really far ahead right now, but the Rays are not impossible. Like they're a great team, but they are not impossible. The Central though, that kind of scares me. All those teams look pretty good. I mean, and then of course Oakland, they're in the lead right now. I don't want to go into Oakland for painfully obvious reasons. It's Oakland. I don't want to travel across the country, and then because that's just travel. I don't want to travel.
So, anything that you're looking forward to in the series against the Orioles besides clinching?
The only thing I'm really looking forward to is why we're doing this in the first place, just seeing the games in Buffalo. I'm looking forward to whatever last-minute Buffaloisms they're going to throw into it. And you know what? And this is something that I was trying to tell my parents last night. I really enjoy the Toronto announcers. Like, I think they're very thorough. I think they do a great job analyzing the game and keeping you interested, whereas the Yankees announcers, just because we've had a whole month of Yankees games, guys, the Yankees announcers they say a few things, and then they just sit back for like 25, 30, 35 seconds saying nothing. The top of the fourth with one out, nothing is happening. They're staying on one shot. It's the most boring thing in the history of sports, and people love it for some reason, and it's like Toronto keeps it interesting without being like a Cris Collinsworth about it. You know what I mean? They're not talking about stupid crap, but they keep it interesting, and I will miss that. I think they did a really good job in my temporary fandom of baseball, if that makes any sense to you.
Well, I'm sure you learned a lot about the game in the process to the announcers, so that ingratiates you to them as well. So do you have any predictions? Would you like to predict first this week?
Yeah, why not? This is our final predictions, and I don't have the tally right now, but Randy, when we do the playoffs, if we make it, and if we don't do if they miss the playoffs by some chance, we'll have a series finale wrap up of some kind, and at that point, we will compare our matchups to see how we've done. So still take these seriously.
I think I'm.
Yeah, we'll see. So 3 games. I'm going to say that the Blue Jays win 2 of them, even if they put in all their second stringers in all the games. Why not? I say the Blue Jays will win the first game 7-1, and then they will win the second game 5-4, and then they will lose the last game 4-2.
All right, I see us sweeping the series 5-3, 6-2, and then 4-1 on Sunday. The only chance there might be rain. It's been beautiful weather here in Buffalo coming down the stretch. Maybe we should have a professional team here in baseball. Maybe Canada will lock Toronto out, like the Blue Jays, out of the country next year, and this will be their semi-permanent home again.
Or just stay in Buffalo. I mean, maybe we like them more. Maybe we don't because we haven't been getting that many views. So I don't know.
Attendance has been pretty low at the ballpark too, is my understanding.
Yeah, not even salary was allowed in.
But we do have our 105 years from now to look forward to again when there is baseball once again in professional baseball in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big question. When is this ever going to happen again? Maybe in 21-21. Maybe never. Maybe they'll make a new team. We don't know. And Randy, I hope it happens again. I really, really do.
It's been fun. Well, we will be back whether we're out of the playoffs or if we're covering our first away series in the playoffs. Either way, you'll hear from us again. But until then, thank you so much for watching Buffalo Blue Jays pregame.